Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Go Vimanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from the Srimad Bhagavad-gita, and we're going to read from chapter 10, text number 8, but we're also going to take some of the purport of Srila Prabhupada from a little bit later, text 12 and 13, but we'll start with verse number 8. Just want to get it here. It's easier for me to use the phone because I can see easier. I haven't got my glasses. Library. Chapter 10. It's a famous verse, actually. And you can repeat after me if you want the verse. It's not too general, if you remember it. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Mata sarvam pravartate. Mata sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvita. Buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Mata sarvam pravartate. Mata sarvam pravartate. Yeti matva bhajante mam. Yeti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvita. Buddha bhava samanvita. So the translation by Srila Prabhupada. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So maybe if you could repeat this. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So I think we know this is Krishna speaking here. It's not us, it's Krishna. So I'll just move on. So I just want to go on to the purport by Srila Prabhupada, and taking it from text number 11. Okay, everybody ready? Ready for attention? Because it takes a bit of attention to really take in what's been said, because it's quite profound. Okay, I'll just read it and then you can see. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead, simply by speculating. For the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the Supreme Truth Krishna pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart. And with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotees of Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishnu Stapana Nena Bhutane Swayam Bhutanayam Tadata Swami Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Shri Bhakti Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachayane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschadari Chaitanya. The reason that I chose this particular verse is I've been studying a little bit recently into the intricacies of physics, chemistry, mathematics, and their attempt to try to understand the world, by their method. I think something like 120 years ago, in 1915, I think Einstein. So I know you're all Einstein scholars here. You all look like you've got big beards and. Einstein brought in this relativity theory, which explained quite well, in a sense, the motions of the planets according to gravity and so on. And they thought they had a good handle on things, but then a little bit later came in the whole thing of quantum mechanics. And in quantum mechanics, I take out a board here. I give a few. I'm only joking, by the way. I'll give a few I've been bewildered by Einstein, but formulas and fractions and all those things. Mathematics, we had one really great scholar of mathematics called Richard Thompson, and he actually, one time he wrote a formula that took 64 pages, a mathematical formula. He was a very, very intelligent person, actually, and he was a great devotee as well. But anyway, the whole idea of quantum mechanics is that the observer affects the result of what he's observing. He has an effect on the world in front of him. Whereas science, until then, the idea was that it's an objective truth. We can just study it and then we'll know what it is. But that's not what happens. It's completely not what happens. And they haven't been able to deal with that problem for over 120 years. We talk about modern mathematics and everything. But actually, all they have is they got some theories to try to make it a little bit more comprehensible. And what I'm getting at is that I was doing this course and I was just studying some of these things. Now, they're practically impossible to understand unless you had spent 20 years trying to work them out. But they cannot, as much as they tried, to actually understand the nature of reality. All they have is some ideas and some forces, and it's such an incredible. I mean, they have these billions, microscopes. They're able to get into very, 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 very minute details and data. I know anybody who's in the medical profession, they understand like microbes and all these things, and they can see the complexities that are going on, but they can't explain them. They can see them, but they don't know what's happening, and what they're seeing is they're thinking, well, there must be something behind this, because what I'm just seeing now isn't sufficient to actually, there's not enough meaning. You can't get the meaning for what is happening in front of your eyes. You don't know why it's happening. So that's what got me onto this verse here, whereas it explains that the mind can go on speculating for millions of lifetimes and still not understand the nature of the supreme truth, of the absolute truth. And yet, there is another force there, which is called bhakti, or devotional service. And devotional service is the method by which we can understand the source of everything, We can actually understand what that source is. And if we actually surrender to the source, we will go back to the spiritual world, and all of these things will become very clear, if we needed to. We won't be interested in those things there anyway. That's all just material information, because the material world is the third energy. The middle energy is the soul, is us, the living entities, the marginal potencies, and then supplying everything is the supreme source. And he's giving. It's because of his life, the energy, that we actually have life, and we have because we didn't make it ourselves, isn't it? None of us actually went ahead and made any of the things that we have. For instance, our bodies, the air, light. We're just partaking of these things. They're already there, and we have got this kind of a vehicle in which to try to understand it and try to make sense of it, which is the body. So we have the body here that's trying to make sense of what's going on. And even the greatest minds, that's been explained here, are trying to understand what's going on for billions of lifetimes, and they still won't get an iota. But Bhakti Yoga, or the science of Krishna Consciousness, will give us an insight into this vehicle that we have, this body here. It gives us an insight into the potencies that are going on here. For instance, Bhakti Yoga explains about reincarnation. So what about reincarnation? How does that affect us to a person now? Well, we are subtly creating our future as we speak. Every one of us in this room is subtly creating their next life. And everyone in this room is the product of previous lifetimes. We have come to the position that we're in because of our previous activities. So there's a whole laws of karma going on there, and the scientists, if they're trying, where's karma? There's no way they can understand the laws of karma, Well, actually, to be honest, they're actually getting a little bit closer, and some of our top devotee scientists, their explanations are that they are coming close to what's written already in the Bhagavad-gita. The Bhagavad-gita is giving a vision much, much deeper than they can see. Their vision is kind of two-dimensional, maybe three-dimensional, something like that. But the Bhagavad-gita is multi-dimensional. It's giving information which is way beyond the pratyaksha, which means evidence coming from the senses. And it is greater than evidence coming from the anima, which is the trying to understand things by one's logic and one's deductive ideas. Not that they're wrong, because the Bhagavatam is brilliant, because it uses the senses, the pratyaksha, and the anuma to discover more about the shabda, which is the sound vibration of God, or the actuality of God, God the person. It's a complete science in the Bhagavatam. And so our scientists, and there's some very clever ones among them, they're gradually trying to influence the scientific community to understand, so that they have a better information how to understand what's actually going on. Isn't that incredible? The scientists we're starting the other way around. Sometimes people think, and this is what happened in the Catholic Church actually. I remember the whole Catholic Church just torpedoed, went down when science came, because they just said, well, science is higher, and they gave up all their traditions, or quite a lot of them did in the schools anyway. That was my experience. But we're coming at it from a different angle. The information is really there already in Shabda Brahma, and we are using that to try to help science to actually to get a better view or clarity in what is actually going on, because it's on a much different level. There's so much information there. And that's that we'll try to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam in that context. You know, we have the specifically the 5th canto, which is generally quite difficult for people to understand. But our scientists are actually being able to get that and to use that and to enlighten what is actually going on. I'm just fascinated with this because when I went and studied back onto some of what the science is doing today, and I was only able to see it early, but the complexity is enormous. The complexity. This is only a matter. You know, this is like dull matter. The complexity is incredible. Like we used to think that we could measure everything by the periodic table. You know, hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen. You know, and that was our was kind of like a map, but it had nothing to do with the reality. You know, the whole reality is different. But we were given these formulas and saying, "This is it. It's all discovered. We know everything now." No, that's not what it was able to do. Science is important, but it's not. The problem is only if it claims more than it's, you know, than it actually can, you know. So that's the way that I wanted to kind of bring that a little bit around to Bhakti Yoga, because that's what Prabhupada is saying in the purport, is that by devotional service. I was explaining about the complexity of the instrument that we're trying to understand the world in. It is extremely complex. Like we're creating futures, and we're the creation of past. You know, so that's what's all going on in here. I mean, that's not even speak of what the digestion is going on in our stomach, the neurons that are firing in our brains, like literally billions and billions of activity just going on, just from the time that I walked from downstairs up to here. You know, there's so much that is there, and Krishna says this is my material energy. You know, and it's not even, you know, it's his inferior energy, basically. Kamana Puder Evacha Ahankara Itiyanme Boomer Apernalo Payo Kamana Puder Evacha 7.4 and 7.5. Ahankara Itiyanme Binir Prakaja Ashtade. That's Krishna calls them as inferior energy. So if the inferior energy is so complex that it has the best minds in the world not even able to come near what's going on. So, but the Supreme Krishna comes and tells us that no, we're beyond matter, we're beyond actually, and you know, mind, intelligence. That a lot of people confuse that as being spirit. They think that mind, oh, that must be the spirit, but it's not. Giving energy to all of these things is the soul. Is the Atma. Everyone's heard of Atma, isn't it? The Atma. That's who we actually are. We're actually the soul. But we're covered by the mind, intelligence, you know, the subtle body, and we're covered by the gross body. And so therefore, even as great as the subtle body and the gross body is, incredible as it is, our goal is to leave this material world and to go to the spiritual world, basically, because that's who we are. That's where we can really take in everything. You know, we can be really full of knowledge, full of bliss, and eternal. That's what Bhagavad-gita explains the nature of the spiritual world, and that's what is there. And the way to get there with our current bodies and with our current minds is to perform devotional service or bhakti. And there was a lady here on Friday night. Her name was Pooja, and she asked about what is devotional service, and I gave some examples. But devotional service, and that's why we have these temples here, is that so people can use their God-given talents in the service of God, in the service of Krishna, and we all have something to give. We maybe, I'm sure nobody's going to be embarrassed if I say a few examples. Somebody who's very good at advertising, for instance. We're trying to advertise about our temple, and we're trying to advertise about the activities in the temple. So somebody who's good at that and is bringing people in, which is Krishna's what he wants the most. And then they use that in the service in the temple here. if somebody is good at making bouquets of flowers, and we have this garland here, and we have the beautiful altar arrangements. If somebody's good at that, then they do that. If somebody's good at singing, if somebody's good at playing musical instruments, if somebody, and we have another person in the room here who did all the electrics here when we started the temple. That's bhakti if they use their talent in the service of God. And that's eternal. Bhakti is eternal. You never lose. Whereas every other activity that we perform, and this is the big hit here, ready? Every other activity we perform for ourselves, that's going to bring in karma. Because we're that type of machine. It's a machine which is creating karma. But bhakti doesn't. It doesn't create karma. And in fact, the other thing that bhakti does is it burns up our previous karma. You know? Like, we are the product of what we have done previously, but this is only one particular manifestation. And there are activities that we did previously which are yet to manifest and will manifest in our future lifetimes. They will be. It's called that are in the seed form. Some that are here already existing, that's who I am now. This is the result of my previous karma. But there's other karmic reactions which will manifest in the future. And bhakti, or devotional service, is the process in which those seeds are burnt, completely burnt away. You know, you're removing, and that's good karma as well, by the way. So, you know, this is not for the squeamish. Bhakti yoga is not for the, you know. Some people, I remember one of my friends, when we went to, I think it was the Yamuna or the Ganga, one of the rivers, it removes all your bad karma. But when you could jump in the Yamuna, your good and bad karma goes. So they only thought, well, I don't think I'll go into that one. I want to hold on to my good karma. But no, bhakti yoga means we have to get rid of all the karma, because there's no such thing as good karma, actually. You know, the good karma is only a temporary manifestation of something in this lifetime which appears to be favorable, but it will be gone as soon as it is used up. And because we're in this world, we have the tendency to make mistakes, you know, the tendency to be illusioned, so therefore we commit sinful activities. So while we're here, we're going to do sinful activities, and therefore we're creating our future bad karma and good karma. You know? So this whole karma business we have to get rid of. You know, and that's what bhakti yoga does. It's so powerful that anything. So that's why we have devotional service, that you can do anything here in the temple. For instance, you can do that at home. You can have your home can be a temple. You know, you have your little altar there. You offer all your food to Krishna. Then it becomes a temple. You know, you don't have to come into the temple to have a temple. You can have a temple at home as well. In fact, it's important that you have a temple at home, because that's the place where you do most of your activities. So you might as well learn how to do them in bhakti yoga, because that will burn away when you're at home. It'll burn away all your, you know, all the seeds of the future karma that you're going to have to undergo. And it's very simple. It's like offering your food, offer it to God. You know, it's His food anyway. We didn't make it, so we're just, you know, offering it to Him, and He's accepting it. He's very merciful. He will take that promise as a sign of bhakti. So it's very, very simple. Bhakti is very, very simple. You know? So anyway, the temple is there to do its, because there's a mission that we have in Krishna consciousness. The mission is to spread this knowledge as much as possible. We're not in government. We can't go in front of the Dáil Éireann and tell everybody, everybody, you should all get up in the morning time early and you should chant Hare Krishna. I don't think the residents of Ballymun and Finglas and Tala and Clondalkin and Ballsbridge, I don't think they're all going to listen to us if you tell them that, isn't it? Do you think so? Anyone like to try it? You have to get elected first. But, you know, but what we have to do here is what Krishna says, we're following Krishna's instructions. He says that For one who gives this message to my devotees, I will be most pleased with that person. There will never be one more dear to me than him or her who spreads this message. So our goal and how we function is we distribute Bhagavad-gita. That's what we do. We distribute Bhagavad-gita, and also we talk from Bhagavad-gita. We discuss Bhagavad-gita, constantly discussing Bhagavad-gita. Because in those 700 verses, the whole formula is there. Krishna, and that's why I was speaking from that today. Krishna says, I'm the source of all. Aham sarvasya prabhu mata. Yeah, it's not great at remembering verses. But I'm the source of all the material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly worship me with all their hearts. That's what Krishna is saying. So that's our prime duty in life. And the material world has got it kind of screwways. The material world says that you have to do really well in your education. You get a good job, good house, good wife, good husband, and then you die. 99% of our time is spent to try to improve our material situation. 99% roughly. And then spiritual life, yes, I go to Mass on Sunday, I go to the temple. But it's not that easy, because, even to get a material degree, like a PhD in astrophysics, it might take 15, 20 years. But to get a PhD in Bhakti could take longer. It's easier, it's more simple, but it could be longer. Could anyone give me a reason why it could take longer to be a proper Bhakti proponent rather than a PhD in astrophysics? Distractions, yeah, that's a good answer, yeah. We'll get a little from you. Because the examiner is a little bit more stricter. The next verse, the verse that I spoke on from the purport, the translation of it is Tesham evanukam partam aham agyana jangama nasayam yakvabhavasto jnana dipene bhasvata. To show them special mercy, can you listen? I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. You can't, you cannot fool the Supreme. He knows everything that's in our hearts. He's there with us. He knows our motivations. He knows where we're trying to get around the system. We used to be able to get around the system a little bit easier before, but now everything is computerized, digitalized. It's very hard to get around the system, and some of the systems really. Anyway, I won't go on about that. They're not very cool. But Krishna is the supreme. He's there. He's the supreme person in charge of the examination. He knows from second to second what our motivation is when we do things. And so, in order to purify ourselves, it can take time. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's as I said, it's more complex than getting a PhD in astrophysics. But it is more simple as well. It's like bhakti or love. It's coming through anyabilasata sunam jnana karma anavritam anukulina krishna shulim up to uttama. It means that we have to be very pure in heart. We have to be very sincere. We have to be very humble. The difficulty is that those are qualities which are not appreciated very much in the world. When was the last time you saw a humble politician? I'm not against the politicians, I'm just, it's almost the name of the game is you have to tell lies, and maybe it's what's it called, something with the job, something that goes along with the job or something, but the problem being is that being straightforward and being simple is not easy for us either, for all of us. And purity is not cheap. Sometimes, does anyone here have any difficulties in life? Yeah? Wow, I thought you were all so happy. I was just looking at you all and no problems at all. That's one of the ways in which Krishna tries to purify our hearts, because we think we're great. Does everyone here think they're great? Actually, we do. Even though we say, no, I'm pretty cool, I'm a nice person. But actually, most of the time we're meditating back on ourselves that we're the best, we're the best. I'm the most important, It's frightening. It's frightening sometimes, the false ego, what it's like. It's like, and that's why back to yoga, when you come in contact with these things, that's why it's a difficult thing. Because you have to be straight with yourself. You have to understand that you're in this material world. Why? Because you're envious of God. That's why. You want to replace God in your life. You want to be there, not God. Why? Because God spoils the fun of me trying to be God. That's why the material world was created. For people like us who are envious of God. Because God is God. We're only we're a part of God. We're not God, but we're a part of God. But we conflate ourselves to think that we're God. And so he creates this place because he's, just like the spiritual world, all our desires are fulfilled. All the wonderful desires are fulfilled. But because we desire, Krishna is fulfilling our desires, that's free will. That's what free will means. He's giving us that. Then he creates the material world so we can try to be gods. That's what he's done. And but we have to be very clever to get out of here. We have to listen to God again. Tesham evan karpartam. He's in our heart and he's telling us how to get out of here. He's constantly telling us how to leave this place. But most of the time we kind of, no, I'm not interested in God. Sorry, no, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to have a big house, I want to have a big this, I want to do this. You can't do that, but you have to do it in the right mood. But generally it's through the acquisitiveness. I want. I want more, I've already got more, and I want more again. I'm not happy, I still want more. And then what you do, you start creating friends and enemies. Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he was in school, he was a little boy, but his father was called Hiranyakashipu, and his father was the king of the demons. But he was such a great demon. I mean, the guys on this planet have nothing in comparison to Hiranyakashipu. He had the whole universe under his control, and he still wasn't happy. He had the whole universe, and so what did he do? Anybody who was giving him any trouble, he tried to put him down or kill him. So Prahlad was growing up in this atmosphere, but he had heard the Srimad Bhagavatam from Narada Muni. So Narada had spoken to him in the womb and had given him the actual information of spiritual life. So that shows you that even the living entity in the womb is spiritually there, and it's kind of here. So Prahlad was in that school, and he was asked by his father, what is the best thing you've learned today? And he called him the greatest, best of the demons. He was being very polite to his father. Best of the demons. And basically what he said, that this world is creating friends and enemies. We create, this person's my friend, he's very good, I will help him. This person's my enemy, I will destroy him. I'll keep him away. So that is the world here. Because sorry for being so depressing here, by the way. But that's why back to yoga. is more difficult than a PhD in astrophysics, you know. So I'll just stop for a second. Is there any comments? Anyone likes to ask any questions? Anything that I said, did I say anything that is disturbing to anyone?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So, Prabhu, just out of curiosity, so you have good karma, you have bad karma.
Yes.
And then you just said that the machine is to have no karma.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you go about it? Like?
Yeah. And that's the real brilliance. The brilliance of the Bhagavad-gita. Because the Bhagavad-gita is telling us who we are, you know. We're, as I said earlier, we're a machine which is creating future karma. We're a machine which is being affected by all the modes of nature, you know, goodness, passion, and ignorance, constantly during the day. So many different influences are there. We're practically like helpless almost, you know. And so, but we think, we say, I want this, I want that, I don't want this, I don't want that. That's what we're like. In the material world, because we have those desires, we're taking what we think is good for us and we're rejecting what we think is bad for us. So Krishna says that happiness and distress, fame and infamy, honor and dishonor, that we have to be even-minded. So what Krishna is telling us to do is not to be affected by any of these things, because that is the way we're creating the karma, you see? Whether it's good or bad. Oh yeah, that's good, I'll do this, you know. But we've created the next thing, you know. So we have to be not affected by any of these things, because Krishna is constantly saying this, that these things come like the winter and summer seasons. They're like, they arise from sense perception. This is happiness and distress. They rise from sense perception, and the wise man is not disturbed by any of these things, you know. So it's our senses are thinking this is good and this is bad. But Krishna is saying no, don't be affected by either happiness or distress. So he's giving us the information where this machine, in that sense, we're in the machine, but we have a little bit of control. We can say yes or we can say no. And so Bhagavad-gita is helping us then to not to create further karma, either good or bad. Like no one gets up tomorrow morning and say, bring it on, let me have some horrible time today. And I want to have the worst possible thing to happen, you know. No, everyone's thinking, I want to have a good time today, I hope everything is good too. But does that mean that we won't have a horrible time? No, we could have a horrible time. You know, the tax could come in, a legal case could happen, you know, all these things can happen, you know, and we're not asking for them, but they happen. So that shows you that we're not in control. Like these things will happen. So Krishna is giving us the information where we won't be affected. So that way we don't create the karma. But then the real benefit is bhakti, as I was saying. That burns up the previous one, but then it means that any activity that we perform in this world is bringing us back to the spiritual world. You know, any activity here in there, and that's why we have the temple, making it very easy for people to perform bhakti. You know, to use their senses and their mind and their intelligence in the service of God. Anything else? Anyone else wants? So then tomorrow morning everybody's going to get up and start chanting Hare Krishna and dancing in ecstasy. Or not. You see, we're kind of unwilling. We're unwilling to take the task. That's why it's harder than astrophysics, because we're causelessly unwilling. We don't want it. Just deep down, we're just feeling this. Couldn't be bothered. Oh no, No, it's just too much of a hassle, too much of a trip. Where's my breakfast? You know, what am I to do today? You know, we just want to be distracted. You said distractions earlier, isn't it? We want to be distracted. We don't want to focus on the problem. We want to have a good life, an easy life, you know. And still we're being tortured by the modes of material nature all the time. It's no fun getting old, by the way. I'm 67 and I'm 68 here this year, you know. And there's various things happen when you get old, like the digestion doesn't work as well. You know, you see this nice big plate of prasad and you take it in the next day you're going, oh, why did I eat so much? You know? So many things happen. You have an extra pain that you never knew you had. My finger, this hand is starting to go, you know, fingers going, I didn't want that to happen. How did that happen? You know, all of these things start to kick in, you know. And I won't say anything about my head either, you know. Or the colour, there's a bit of colouring there. You know, do you like the grey? It's in fashion at the moment. So, you know, this is old age. This is what happens. Now, what to speak of disease? Well, I had gallstones about 6 years ago. That wasn't very pleasant, you know. I didn't want to have gallstones. I didn't wake up and say I want to have gallstones today. No, but you know, there I was, you know, in Ancoats Hospital in Connolly. I was with my gallstones. That's when I went to Connolly Hospital and getting this stuff in your, you know, 7 days. You know, I hated it. And but you know, anyway, I got through it. You know, get on these drugs like, oh, Krishna. When you're kind of pumped up, you don't know what to do. You're just so. And then you go and you get the thing down your throat whereby they blast the gallstone. You take this drug that you don't even remember. You can't remember what it is, and you're talking to him even that, but you can't remember what you said. And then a few hours later, you kind of come to consciousness again. The nurse says, "No, you're okay. You're fine." You know. And then you get out, and then it takes several weeks before you can really recover again. So you know, it's not fun. But Krishna does that and gives us a hard time so that we can actually ask those important questions. But a lot of time we think, I know I'll be okay. I know I'll be fine. Sure, if I drink a pint of Guinness tonight, everything will be fine again. You know, alcohol, like, you know, that's how people deal with it. And it only puts them further and further in the illusion. You know, puts us further in the illusion. So that's why sometimes it's not always pleasant to hear about the nature of the reality, because it means that we have to do something. And we've been here for millions of lifetimes. Every time we get an opportunity to leave, we think, I should be fine. Or the Irish say, I should be grand. Everyone heard that one, have they? It's an Irish saying, they always say it, you know. They're never grand, you know. You couldn't be grand in this weather, you know. So that's what I'm thinking, that, you know, this is probably, I've been giving classes on Bhagavad-gita on Sundays for over 40 years. Over 40 years. Average about 20 or so a year. So that's 10, maybe 1,000, 15, 1,200 classes I've given. Very few people have listened to what I've said. I put myself in that category. It took me a long while to listen, because I'm only repeating what's in the Bhagavad-gita. But it has over 40 years. Some of it has actually, you know, has got through. So I'm aware it's not so easy to just to take it on, you know. But I'm still giving classes, you know. I still have hope for myself anyway. But it's important that we do, you know, have these discussions, and that we do try to give this message. Because we can give it to ourselves, and then we will never come back, and we'll go. The nature of the soul is it's full of knowledge and full of bliss. That's the nature of the soul. That's our nature. In the spiritual world, we won't have to work. We won't have to get a visa. We won't have to. We won't have to live in Ireland with the rain. So these are all things that, the soul is not. This is not the place for the soul. It's like a fish out of water. Imagine a poor fish. It's just out there in Middle Abbey Street. There's a fish flapping around. It's not going to be happy. You go and give it some paneer subji. Paneer subji is very nice. So if you go to the fish and say, have some paneer subji, he's not interested. He'll want some water. Then he'll be happy. So that's us. We need the water of the spiritual world for us to be happy. And what passes, this is a phrase my wife always uses. She picked this up from Bhagavad-gita. What passes for happiness in this material world, okay? Ready? You listening? What passes for happiness in the material world is only a temporary cessation of the distress. That's what happiness is. Guaranteed. That's all it is. Another one. The happiness in this material world is like a drop of water in the desert. One drop of water. This is the truth. I'm not trying to sell you anything. No. I'm not saying if you... What?
It's fleeting, huh?
Oh, fleeting, exactly. It's temporary. Yeah, extremely temporary. Yeah.
So we are always in constant pain and distress.
Yeah. We are. Yeah. So these are the kind of the messages, that I listen to, or I've been hearing all this time. But it takes time for it to get through. You know that? It actually takes some time. I mean, John Prabhu there has been, both of us have kind of been around the same time. And both of us, I know because I talked to John quite a lot, that it takes time for some of these things to get through. It just doesn't happen overnight, But the more we hear and the more we listen, and if we're fortunate enough, we'll have made a lot of progress in previous lifetimes actually. We'll have made some progress. So it's easier. The science of Bhakti Yoga is not available in the marketplace. It is more valuable than any university degree or any PhD degree because it can bring you back to the spiritual world. Whereas the other things you have to give them up at the end, And people work all their lives for some of these material things and they get some happiness. But don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. Learn about spiritual happiness. Learn about the spiritual world, the spiritual dimension. And actually get right into it. Because spiritual knowledge is ecstatic. Spiritual knowledge is powerful. Powerful. I was making this point in my class this morning. I don't know if I'll be able to get it across here, but one devotee was telling me that she was listening to one of the senior devotees in the movement, and he was explaining that Krishna is our best friend, God is our best friend. He's the best friend. Why? Because he doesn't want anything from us. He has everything. If you let that sink deeply, God has everything. He doesn't need anything from us. Yet he stays with us. He's our best friend. He stays with us all the time. And all he wants is our good. So he's constantly giving messages like in the Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavad-gita, whatever. And he's giving us the messages whereby we can leave this material world. So we can only be peaceful and happy if we can ingest that message. If we can take in that message. of happiness, of actual peacefulness in this material world. If we take that message from Krishna. And you know what? This world is badly in need of some peaceful people. You know? It's absolutely essential. If we just give up and say, oh, the lunatics are in command, so they're just inventing their rage and their hate, you know, and they're calling it civilization, you know. No, we can't give up on the civilization. We all of us have to develop our peacefulness inside us, and as Parvesh very, very nicely presented the other day, we actually have to get rid of that inside us, you know, all of those lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, envy. And Bhakti Yoga is giving us is the best method for which for us to achieve that, you know. It will rid ourselves of all the anarthas, unwanted things from our hearts. And when they go, then we'll want spiritual life. You know what I mean? We get up in the morning, yes, I do want spiritual life. I want to practice. I want to take on some austerity. I want to chant 16 rounds on beads. I want to chant 20 rounds on beads. I want to offer all my food. I want to give spiritual life to others. I want to share the joy of spiritual life to others. And we'll be enthusiastic to do this. But if our anarthas are in charge, that's the things that are not lust, anger, greed, we won't want to bother. You know, we think, oh, I couldn't be part of it. It's already late. Forget about that alarm clock. You know, it's only for fanatics. You know. So we don't, you know. So it's as fine as that. You know, it's minute by minute. It's second by second. That's the power of this machine as well. It can make a decision. Okay, I'll give in one example for myself. When I went to the first talk on spiritual life, somehow or other, the person was enlightened and I had the ability to give this message out, and I made a decision straight away, just like that. You know, it completely changed the course of my life. So spiritual life can be that powerful. The super soul is inside us. So it's a minute by minute thing. So that we have to be alert, you know, to the signs, to hear when God is speaking to us, you know, and informing us what to do and giving us direction. You know, if we're super alert, we can be super happy, because then we're you know, we're acting as God wants us to act. We're the servant of God, which is our actual constitutional position, and that's the position of ultimate happiness. But yeah, it's a step-by-step process. Any other comments? Anyone else wants to add anything before we close? I can stay here for another hour if you want. I'm sure you do. But anyway, thank you so much for hearing and listening and participating. It is very nice. And so the next part of the program is we are going to ask a quiz, a very important quiz, because the winner of the quiz will get a Bhagavad-gita, which we talked about. Do you have the Bhagavad-gita here? No. Okay. Okay, so this is Sripad Prabhu as another member who's spent his time here with John and getting all this temple together, performed tons and tons of devotional service, and he's still going strong. I'll sing for art. Huh? Yeah. Which? Devotion. Oh, okay. But you have to do devotion.
question, everybody? Can you hear me? Generally, after the lecture, I would ask two questions. It's based on what Manu Prabhu has just said, the importance of the Bhagavad-gita. Only a Bhagavad-gita is not good enough. Having it, owning it, and reading a page a day is what we need you to do. That's the only thing that will bring you closer to Krishna. Okay, can you all hear me? I think the volume is low. Okay. But to earn the Bhagavad-gita, I'm giving two. Two questions, two correct answers, and two Bhagavad-gita. Thank you. There's Bhagavad-gita here. Okay. I've written the questions here. I'll ask you according to that. Question 1. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Do you all know who sage Vyasadeva is?
Yes.
Who is sage Vyasadeva? You shook your head.
I was trying to say I hear you. Yeah. What's the question? Who's the sage?
He's one who wrote most of the books. Okay? He had 4 sons.
Who say Vyasadeva?
Vyasadeva had 4 sons. Now the question is, can you name the 4 sons to earn one of the Bhagavad-gita? Can you name them? I have the answer here, but I need you to answer the question for you to earn one of the Bhagavad-gita that is on this little table. Does anybody know who they are? Don't know. Okay. If you get 2 of the 4 right, I'll give it. You might not be able to get the 4th one, that's difficult. But you should know at least 3 of them, but if you get 2 of them, I'll give it the book.
Can I try?
Any other hand?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, yes,
Pandu
yes,
and Dhritarashtra.
yes. Can you get the 3rd one?
Bhishma, Pitama, Bhishma.
No.
Vidu.
Who's the Vidur? Yes, Vidur is the 3rd one. And who's the 4th one?
Vidhur?
He said Vidur.
Yeah, it always says, I think.
The Vidur is correct, yeah. The last one is a difficult one, and a lot of people will not know the last one, but I'll let you know it. It's Sripad Aindra Prabhu is the 4th one. Thanks. Somebody has chanted the name. Come on, please, and collect your book. What's your name?
Yash.
Yes?
Yash Agrawal.
You have to make one promise.
Yeah.
If you open the book and read 1 page a day,
Yeah.
okay? It's not when you take it home and you're not going to read it. That's useless. No value to it.
Yeah. So I have a request actually.
Sorry?
I have a request.
Yes,
I already have Bhagavad-gita and I've read it. So if anyone else,
it's your choice who you want to give it
yeah,
to.
anyone like,
One.
yeah, okay.
Sorry, question. Just another second book.
There's no one.
Who encouraged Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam? who encouraged Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam? Oh, sorry. Very good. Narad Boni. Did anybody else know the answer? You do. Yes. Please come and collect your book. Again, you have to promise that you will.
I have a book.
You have a book. Okay, now.
So I would like to give here, raise the hand. When we are asked to
Very good.
Is anybody who raised their hand as well? Yes? Okay, give you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Haribol! Okay, thank you so much, Uncle Prabhu, for distributing Bhagavad-gitas. So many.
Every week, every Sunday, after the lecture, I ask the quiz question and donate two. I personally donate two to the winners. Okay? So, come on Sunday, then there were 3 people came for the first time and did the win the Bhagavad-gita. Just laugh. Thank you. Thank you.
So now we're going to have the RT, so if everyone could stand up. And uncomfortable, are you going to do the operator? Do the RT, yeah. Shiva Jaya, Jaya Gora Chante, Mahokoti Chandratini Vadana Ujvala Rama, Jai Om Vishnupad Bhagavad Gita School Tari Santa Sripad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananda Vaishnavindra Ki. Namacharya Harishil Haridas Thakur Ki. Brothers and hosts, Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mayapur Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Jamuna Maya Ki. Ganga Maya Ki. Tulsi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Yogi Ki. Vyadantanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki. ISKCON Ki. Go, Brahmanande! All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. So, thank you everybody for coming today. We want to thank the persons and various persons who helped with sponsoring feasts and everything here for the last so many weeks and months and so on. It's really, really good that you're doing that because you're feeding so many people. And that's one of the most auspicious and pious things that you can do. You'll notice as well that we have a little, we're attempting to, actually everyone could sit down for a second because we're going to have just the last arti and then we're going to answer for Shama. So if everyone wants to sit down for a second, it's just the last part of the show for Krishna. Yeah. You got a special singer as well today. Shama's going to sing for us. Hari Bol, thank you. But just a quick announcement to allow people to understand. We're still very close to buying our land here, and we're going to try to have look after some cows, look after some growing, and also, we're going to build a temple as well for Krishna's grace. So we're very close to that. We've done 3 weeks, 4 weeks I think from today, hopefully. We'll be in the possession of a wonderful piece of land for Krishna. So we're already working very hard on the design and everything. We've architects been working on it for about 3-4 months. We have archaeological studies because it's in a place in Ireland which is very famous. There was a church there and there was a holy well there as well. So it's a very sacred space, even from the platform of spirituality that was there before. So we're getting these things done. We're getting as I say, we've done all the signing. We've sent a deposit. So we're nearly there, but in the coming weeks ahead, we have to start on our campaign again. So we're going to have to start on it practically straight away because in order to get any sort of building in Ireland, I don't know if anyone knows this, but this is going to be a significant building, something like 1,300 square meters, which is like 14,000 square feet. And we're going to do it in stages, basically. The first stage we're going to start with is the temple. Now, the first stage was buying the land, so we've got that done. The next stage is all the architectural, all the building fees, so many complications that the architect's going to be working with something like eight months on this. He's already working 4 months, and there's 8 more months he's going to be working on before we hand in the actual design into the county council. We had a very successful meeting with them the other day. We told them it's a temple, and he didn't pop out of his seat. He was okay. Sometimes when you say things like that, people get a little bit, what's that? What's a temple? And but anyway, he was all right. And we were explaining that we're going to have a Govindas there as well, and we're going to have a cow barn as well, looking after some cows, and an educational centre where for the kids, for their for Sunday school and things, and then a higher education there as well. We're starting off a new higher education thing downstairs as well in one of the rooms, and so that's mainly what if anyone was here for the talk. Our whole idea is to spread this message, which is it's the highest philosophy and such. So we want to be really concentrating on that. And then, of course, we'll have a beautiful temple, which will be the centerpiece, obviously. Anyway, so that's hopefully we're starting off with small steps. We've got the land. We have now going to go into the whole series of getting the designs ready by next December. So that's our next goal. So if you want to tune in for that, please do. We'll be putting it on all the WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and explaining it. And if you want any more details, you can ask me about it as well. But it will take a commitment from all of us, though. We're going to have to dig deep because building isn't cheap these days. And we want to build something which is going to last for hundreds of years. Something which is this is our main statement here in Ireland on the glories of the Vedic culture. So that's what we're trying to develop, and it'll be fantastic. It'll be an amazing scenario. I can assure you that it'll be very, very beautiful. And so anyway, keep an eye out for that. So we actually heard about it the first time on Shingadev's appearance day last year. That's when we first knew that it was happening. And then, so we're hoping that by Shingadev's appearance this year, we'll have everything secured and in operation. So, but now we're going to ask Sham, is it? Sham? I didn't know she was in classes. Shaman's going to sing the Shingadev, so he's our powerful devotee. He's like Prahlad Maharaj, he's so powerful. So he's going to sing very, very beautifully to Lord Nishingadev for all of us. Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Shama Prabhu. Ram Navami is happening on the 26th. Yeah, 26th in the temple here on the day itself. But the main festival we're going to have on the Sunday. It's in Cabinteely Community Hall. So we're going to put that on all the announcements. I think you have to, just say where you're coming so we know how many people are coming. But there's already a lot of people have signed up. So if you want to be there, it's from 2 o'clock till about 6 o'clock. It's a really exciting program. We're preparing dramas and everything. Are you in the drama this time?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you in the drama?
Secret.
Secret. Okay. Oh, go on, tell us.
I thought I did something.
Okay. So that's the drama's on, and then we also have a wonderful prasadam, of course, and there's going to be a wonderful talk. So, but please come along. It's going to be very, very nice. It's on the 29th, which is the Sunday. So it's a few days afterwards, but it kind of gives you more time, really, isn't it? Because sometimes during the week we're finding it a little difficult for people to come here because they have to go to work the next day and everything. We'll have the festival here, but we're going to have it there on the 29th.
Location?
Okay. It's in Cabinteely Community Hall. We'll have all the, on the WhatsApps and all that. Okay.
Those who are not in the group, they can scan.
Oh, scan the barcode, yeah. Yeah. Instagram already, yeah. Okay, good. Good. And if anybody is daring enough, Tuesday is St. Patrick's Day. And it's pretty wild here in Dublin City. The parade, the big parade, I think it finishes at 2 o'clock. But then the real parade begins. The real parade is the devotees on Hare now. So we're going to give out loads of sweets. We're going to give out loads of books to all the passers-by. It's actually quite fun, If anyone wants to have an entertaining few hours, come along at 2:30 on St. Patrick's Day. We're meeting just outside Govinda's there at 2:30. So anyone says they think they might come? Any hands? Oh, brilliant. That's really good. Anyone else?
Waiting for something.
We'll just tell the employers that you're sick. But okay, that's next Tuesday. Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And so, I think Prashant is ready downstairs. We'll just check, because otherwise we'll have a little bit of Kirtan here, but then for a few minutes, but the Prashant will be served very shortly. I was told 40 minutes at 5:30, so I think we're within. We're just waiting for the okay.
Yeah, you'll check.
Probably
It's already.
Okay, so don't rush downstairs, just an orderly queue. Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you. Anyone wants to stay here? There's some clear time going on as well, but if you want to take for something, Hare.
Are you doing this? Prabhu, is it or not? You're not playing harmonium. Harmonium is so are you thinking that or just doing normal people? Okay.
Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami let's go for Prasadam. Southern part of India. Who wants to Kirtan Karate?